epic family road trip. Good morning from Wichita Mountains Wildlife Reserve. We had a beautiful sleep here. The sun is coming up in the background over the lake. You could hear the coyotes last night up over the lake there. Drove Lando nuts, but it was quite a beautiful sound. And you know, you're in the wilderness. This morning we're getting up, packing up and heading. We'd love to stay here longer actually, but we have to head west. So we're heading somewhere into the Panhandle, I guess it's called, or the top portion of Texas, and probably get up to Amarillo, and then the next day we'll make it into New Mexico. Hey, if you recall, yesterday morning I talked about putting these tents away wet, and you have to watch out for mildew and everything, but because we're using them all the time, we've now driven into a spot in Oklahoma where it's breezy and sunny and they are bone dry. So that's all you gotta do. You set them out, leave them for a couple hours, they dry up nice, and then you can pack them away without having to worry about mildew.
Alright, so we just spent a nice night here at the state park, but we're now driving out. But it was really amazing coming in here, just seeing the amazing landscape shift that was there, but then also on the way in we saw tons of buffalo, and as we were camped we saw a bunch of buffalo, and longhorns were right up beside our camp, and then we could hear coyotes all night. It was just really beautiful.
Before leaving the Wichita Mountains Wildlife Reserve, we stopped at the Visitor Center to learn more about the area and its history.
There are two types of fire on the refuge. Wildfires, sparked by human error or lightning, which can rage out of control, and prescribed fire set intentionally to meet specific management objectives, to reduce the fuel that can cause damaging wildfire and help maintain a diverse, healthy, and vigorous ecosystem.
The day before, while on a hike, we noticed that the park rangers were conducting these regulated fires in the park.
Looks like it'd be a controlled burn on the national grasslands. In a couple of weeks that'll be dark green.
We then drove east to Palo Duro Canyon State Park near Amarillo, Texas. We set up camp in the canyon for the night before driving into New Mexico the next morning.
Nice looking either. Use your extra inch and do that.
Don't go that way. You get tangled around everything, bud.
Right. We love using our Tembo tusk. We had it in storage up on the roof rack for a little bit, and so it oxidizes and gets a little rusty. The way you clean it, what I like to do is just get some of this coconut oil, put a few blobs on there, and then put some salt, chunky salt, if you find it, the really coarse stuff, but any salt will do. And then I just work the spoon around and around in circles. All the rust comes off. You wipe it clean a few times, and look what you got, ready to make dinner.
warmed up. Thank you.
Good morning, guys. It's Saturday, March the 7th, and we camped overnight in the bottom of Palo Duro Canyon. It's the biggest, deepest, longest canyon in Texas, and it's a state park, so a beautiful place to camp. But today we're planning on heading a little more south. It's still pretty chilly here at night, so our goal is to get down to the Guadalupe Mountains. It's pretty much the southwesternmost part of Texas, and that's a national park, so we're looking forward to checking that national park off our list, and then we're going to work our way north into New Mexico. So I was just saying, a chilly morning like this, it's always nice to have a fire, but the temperature, as soon as that sun gets up, it switches so fast. It goes from cold to hot, dry, and windy, and so they've got a fire ban on right now. Obviously you can have fires here at some parts of the year. You can see the remnants right there of the fire, but not today, so we're just warming up by the steam of our coffee, I guess.
So we had an awesome night, and now we're gonna head out of the canyon. And on long drives like today, I think it's 5 hours, but we always add 2 hours because of fuel and just stopping. And so I tried to make a breakfast that we could have for both lunch and breakfast. So yeah, that's always thinking ahead, basically. Egg salad for lunch, and we had hard-boiled eggs on toast for breakfast. So should be yummy.
So this plaque here is about the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon back in the Indian Wars. Because it's all plains everywhere, and then all of a sudden this huge canyon's here, and it was a big hideout for the Indians back then. They had a big battle, and there was only 4 casualties except the horses. The army ended up taking 1,400 horses, and that was more than they could handle. They had to destroy 1,000 of them. It's unbelievable. But the native warriors went up into the canyon hills and were able to fire from an upward position and held them off. So there was only 4 Indian casualties, and then the army retreated. But the site of a big battle.
Who's walked in there?
On the way to Carlsbad, we stopped at the famous Cadillac Ranch art sculptures.
One of those weird tourist attractions, you just have to stop if you're going by, but someone stuck some Cadillacs in the ground, and it's become a tradition to spray them. I don't know how long they've been here. I'm gonna look that up. Okay, we left our mark. Let's go.
Why does it feel so wrong? Spray paint the car.
I don't know, but I think the paint's that thick now after all these years. It's funny though, cows wander amongst these cars at night, I guess. People are spray painting their poop. Oh, we did it.
In Carlsbad, we found a nice BLM camp spot to stay for a few nights while we plotted our new routes.
Yeah, it must be some sort of fruit. Look at this. at all the seeds. We just built a nukshuk. Pretty sure that's how you say it. It's kind of a Canadian symbol. Pretty sure it's made for peace or something. That's what it means.
Check out that moon coming up in the horizon. It is gigantic. Huge super moon, I guess. Hopefully it comes behind the clouds so we can see the whole thing. This is a really neat spot here in New Mexico in the middle of the desert. Just BLM land. I looked it up on iOverlander app and a bunch of people had left some information and they leave the exact coordinates, longitude and latitude, so you just punch that in and you come to the right place and free camping. Can't beat that. What a big herd of deer out there.
Is that why he was barking?
Yeah, they're just running along the top of the ridge. I didn't know you could see that far, but yeah, he saw them. But they blended right in. They didn't go too far, they just stopped. Maybe 20 or more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, huge. Got some firewood, Lando? Atta boy. You're a big help, buddy. We've used up our water supply, and the beauty is out here in the desert, they usually have these big places where you can throw in a few quarters and get 3 gallons of water, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'll tell you what, I'm thirsty.
Washing our hair off the grid. The what? Hook up the blow dryer to the Jeep battery. So Caroline just cleaned our room after all the sand. Oh wow. Ooh. doTERRA oils. The works, baby, the works. Spotless.
All right, so we are here at our camp in New Mexico. We're at some BLM land is where we decided to stop. But one thing we always like to do is have a fire in the mornings for breakfast, and then at night before going to bed. It's just super peaceful and really nice. It changes the whole atmosphere of the camp having something like that. But the first thing we noticed when we're here is there is no trees whatsoever. So in the desert, obviously it's extremely hot in the day and it can get very cold at night. You can almost get hypothermia at night depending on what time of year it is. It can even snow in high elevation places like this. So you really got to use your eyes and look around. But that was just one thing we found interesting is dead cactus is super fibery, and you can use that to burn wood or even use it as a tinder possibly to start. That's something we're going to test with some flint and steel. And then the other thing is dead juniper twigs and branches, and then old, it looks like lightning struck, or when the fire went through here, some kind of big cedar or juniper bush stumps and sticks that have been lying around. And then also things like cow patties can be used to start fires and as a fire source if you really need to get warm at night or cook something. But yeah, so we're gonna collect a bunch of that wood and make a fire. Yeah, so I actually don't even know what this is. It could be some kind of cactus, it could be some type of Joshua tree or whatever. But whatever it is, it's super fibery, like hairy almost. And this could make a good thing to begin a fire in, like rip it up and make it super fine, and then just have bigger chunks of this since it's super light and really, really dry to get a fire going, and then add some of that harder cedar or juniper, whatever the dead brush is that we found as well.
Here, let me get it warmed up. Oop. Slightly wet. No, leave it. With the dry cactus stump, I just took my knife and then stuck it in and just started twisting it round and round, making it turn into little fibers. You can do that with your fingers as well. So then when I took the sparks into all this stuff, just took a little bit of blowing since it's kind of wet to film, and it got a good hole down into it, and then we just set some sticks on top of that, and it's going pretty good. Keep blowing on that. So now that the tinder we started with, which was just a piece of that dry stump, is burning pretty good, Peter's just gonna be giving a little bit of steady wind, not too much because you don't want the flame to blow out, just enough to keep it where it's getting enough oxygen to keep burning as hot as we need it. And then we're just adding thinner sticks and then thicker, and just keep adding thicker and thicker sticks as we go, and sort of layer it until it's hot enough to put on most of the bigger stumps that we collected. And now we're putting on the cow dung, not to get the fire going because it's already going pretty hot, but cow dung will burn for a long time, so it's just to keep the fire at how hot it is right now, to keep it going for a bit longer.
The next day, we headed out to meet up with Kevin, Sarah, and Caroline from Lifestyle Overland to hit the trails in Lincoln National Forest, New Mexico. Stay tuned for some epic adventures coming soon, before we had a big change of plans as coronavirus became more serious across the globe.
And in the meantime, we'll see you down the road.
Bye.